Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is TLC, and I'm going to be showing you how to build a Minecraft Redstone for loop circuit like I showed in my last video. So the first place we're going to start is we're going to go ahead and start bottom up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lay our output 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15. Okay, so this is going to be our output. This is where we're going to see the results, the fruits of our labor, if you will. Okay, so you can have these on delay, but it looks kind of funny, so I'd recommend not doing it. Okay, so this is our output. Now the maximum power redstone can be is 15. So go ahead and light these up to 15. The next thing is you put a comparator here, and this is where we're going to have two different lines coming in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the reason that we use comparators like this is because the comparator allows us to extend a weak signal. So you can see this is here, the signal's empty. But it allows us to extend a weak signal indefinitely. So if I put a comparator here, the output of this comparator is going to be the exact same strength as this one. So in order to keep this signal strength going, I could do that as where if I just did that, well, except for those spots, you can see that it would die off. Let's do this one to be better. So that's the difference. Additionally, you don't want to use a repeater, because if you did a repeater instead, you would actually renew the strength. So right here it's weak, but a repeater refreshes it back to 15. So that's why we use comparators in an interleaved fashion like this. So most of the circuit is actually going to be wire that's just has these interleaved comparators going down the line. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put two blocks like so. And on these two blocks, you're going to put sticky pistons, one facing this block, one facing this block. And so now what these are going to do, this is what's going to give us the cap, the high value of what our for loop's going to. So if we're going from 1 to 15, these guys make sure we stop at 15. Or if we go to 1 to 10, these two pistons make sure we stop at a certain number we need. Okay, and so the next thing we need is to go ahead and make kind of a loop, kind of like that. Okay, so this is where our line's going to come in, and I'll explain the purpose of this loop in a little while, but that's what you want to do right now. Next, put two repeaters and set the first one to 3 ticks delay going into this block. And the reason we have these is because we need to adjust the delay depending on how big our loop is. The delay on this block pushing out. The next thing you're going to put is put another block here, just like that. Okay, so we have an inverter and that going in there. And then now put a comparator here, leave it like that, and we'll go ahead and extend this guy out here. Okay, so this comparator is going to actually serve a function. What this one is going to do is it's going to take whatever number, this line here is going to be our current length, or our current number that we're looking at. So for I equals 1 to 10, and where our I value is currently 7, this line here is going to hold 7. And so now what happens though is what happens when we're going from 1 to 10 and this line counts 11. Well, when that happens, we need to turn off this side, so cancel this, so 11 is not going to pass, and we extend this block so that our n value, which is going to come through this line, comes through. So that way we have 10 and not 11 or 12 or anything higher. So this comparator does that check for us. It says, okay, which block is currently, it's asking is which one's greater. Is the current n value, which right now we'll have at 15, is 15 greater than whatever value we have over here? And this needs to change to that. And if 15 is greater, then this side is going to go, which makes sense, right? Because we want, as long as this side is less than our cap, this side is going to be the one that lights up the pistons. However, if, for instance, this side, let's say our cap is what, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. So right now we're going to 11. If this side becomes greater than that, you can see 15 is coming through here. 15 is not, or 11 is not greater than 15. So this becomes unpowered, which powers this block, which powers this piston, turns this piston off. So 15 is not connected. However, 11 now completes the circuit. So if we come down here, you can see we have 11 lit up. So that's essentially how this section of the circuit works. Let's go ahead and give us a more reasonable cap of 15. And right here is where let's give us a little bit more room. So obviously you can shorten this down by, I like to give a lot of space so you can see kind of what's happening. So you can see here, this is the input line where our values are going to progressively increase. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a loop over here that's going to gradually increase this line and therefore increase that down there. Okay, but before we get to that, we have another thing we need to do. Okay, so the next thing, we need to have a comparator on subtract mode that this line comes into, because this line is going to be a high number, and a torch lighting that. So we have 15 minus something. And once again, the reason that we do that is because of in Minecraft, you can't add two lines. You can't take 14 plus 1. So what you can do, however, is you can subtract. So in order to add 1 to a number, what we do is we subtract a subtraction of 1. So for instance, let's say this line coming through is 13. We'll have 15 minus 13 is 2. But then let's say we subtract 1 from 13. So we had 15 and 13. Now we have 15 and 12. So now we have 15 minus 12, which is going to be 3. So you can see that the output would increase by 1 if we subtract 1 from here. So that's the general principle on why we have this comparator with a 15 and a negative sign, or a subtraction. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, this actually needs to change a little bit. We need to put that here, put that here. Now we need another subtraction. And so this is where our initial value is going to go. So this line is going to come from our loop, and this is going to be our initial value. And the reason that is because if we want to start at 1 and our initial value is 0, we need to say, so 1 minus 0, we still need to have that 1 to light up our pistons. Okay, so how do we get the initial value? Well, put a comparator, put it on subtract mode, put a torch, put another comparator, and grab your chest. I like to use a chest. You can also use a torch or a length drawn out. You could do one of these things. But that's kind of messy, especially since usually your initial value is going to be low. So that's why I just tend to put a chest and fill it with boats. Okay, so right now we have initial value of 1. 15 minus 1 is 14. 14 minus 0 is still 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. 1 is less than 15, so this side is powered. 1 travels through here, and lights up this piston. Okay, so now we just got to build the loop. This part is important, but not too difficult. If you've ever seen a delay on redstone repeaters, it essentially works in the same way. So what you have is, go ahead and make a little loop like that. And that's fine. This is going to be a subtraction, and this is going to be a subtraction. And so right here, put a 15. And let's go ahead and break that for now. And I'll show you why in a second. And we're actually going to, let's go ahead and put it down now. So this is actually going to be connected by another sticky piston. So let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, so go ahead and put your sticky piston there. And well, if I put a lever here, nope, that didn't work. Okay. So there's that situation. Now what we have is 15 is going to subtract whatever value comes through here. So now if I connected this, we'd have a 15, we'd have 15 minus 1, which is 14. 14 minus 15 is 0, so we'd have a 0 come out. And then we'd have 15 minus 0, which would be 15. So then our cap would come into play. So that's what the current value of this is. However, what we need to do is we need to create our step value. And so this is where, here's how you create the step. Let's say this is connected. So we have 15 coming through. Actually, let's not. Let's say, well, right now this line is going to be our step. So for instance, if we had that, we have 14 here, 15. 15 minus 14 is 1. And so the difference between that and this is actually our step value. So for instance, if I connect this, we're going to have 1 coming out. 1's going to go over there, and then we're going to have a plus 1 pop up over there. But then 1's also going to circle back. So we have 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. Comes back through here. 14 minus 1 is 13. 15 minus 13 is 2. 2 comes over here. 14 minus 2 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. 3 comes around here. 14 minus 3 is 11. 15 minus 11 is 4. And you can see how this line increases every time. So let's go ahead and connect that, and you can watch. We can watch that over there increase by 1. Excuse me. So there you go. That's simple. And let's go ahead and disconnect that. And let's 15's our cap. Okay, that's fine. Let's come back over here. And now the key is the difference between this line and this line is what creates our step value. So let's go ahead and create a better method for the step. So if you put a subtraction here, the step value, it tends to be pretty low as well. So what we do is we do this exact same situation. So now we have 1. 15 minus 1 is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. So now if I increase this, it increases our step in the circle. So now I think we have 2. Let's make it 3. Okay, so this value coming into this subtraction is 3. 15 minus 3 is 12. 12 comes over here. 15 minus 12 is 3. 3 comes out. 3 completes the circuit. We had 12 minus 3 is 9. 15 minus 9 is some other number, and that goes and lights that up. So let's go ahead and watch it. Now it should go up by 3 every time. There you go. Very simple, very nice. So there's a couple more minor tweaks we have to make. I'm going to explain a little bit. Things you can do. You can kind of, what I like to do if you want to have a visualization of your step value, you can do this. It's kind of nice. Put those back in here and kind of do something opposite to what you were doing earlier, where, something just like that, and put these here. So this is just a visualization of what our current step value is. So that's kind of an optional feature you can add in. It still works the same way. Let's go ahead and turn our lever off. Okay, so now let's come over here. This is our initial. We still have 1, so it's lit up. Let's go ahead and extend this guy, and I'll have to set the time in a second. Okay, let's go ahead and extend this. So let's see, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So let's use 10. So 1 is still less than 10, so that works just fine. Let's go ahead and take away our initial value. Let's make it 2. Okay, so there's 2. And now I'm going to explain this whole little loop thing we got going on. So let's take away our delay on our repeater. And go ahead and hit the lever. So our step is 3, we're starting at 2, and we're going to 10. So 2, 5, 8. And you see how they all went down for a second and then popped up for 10? The reason that is because we have our value for, what would that be, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, because we have 8 plus 3. 11 comes through this way. So we have 11 coming down this line. And so once 11 hits here, this is going to be 10 is less than 11. So this is immediately going to shut off. So 11's coming. This shuts off. 11 never has the chance to get down there. However, this shuts off before this has a chance to power. So what that means is there's a temporary moment where this line's off and this line's off, and therefore none of these get power. So that's why they all shot down and then came back up. So what we do to fix that is these two, we create this circle such that 11's coming through. We put a delay on this. 2 ticks tends to work for a loop this size. So that way this won't immediately shut off, which gives this piston time to shut on to complete that circuit. However, we don't want 11 to get through, because then it would do the same thing. 11 would come up and then it would shoot back down immediately. Not all of them, but just the last one. So what we do is we make 11 go this long route over here in order to get through. So that way, this one has to shut off before that one, but also has to shut off before 11 passes through that side of the circuit. So 11's coming through, that turns on, this waits a second. However, 11 is maybe at this block, the pulse of 11 is maybe here when this guy shuts off, so 11 never quite makes it through. So it's a delicate timing operation, but with that delay set up, you can watch it again, and you see it's nice and smooth. So yeah, that's essentially how you build the circuit. There's other things you can do. You can, these guys you can, let's say for instance you wanted to check when 1, 2, 3, 4 is lit, and you can, run things off of that. I actually have one where it has an automatic reset. So when it hits 15, I take this line and if you take it and you connect it back to the reset way up there, I'll go ahead and do it just to show you. Like that. Actually, let me see. What happens if I... So something like that. Now the trick is that you'd have to do something like that, actually. So now if this comes on, that goes off. Okay, so that's regardless of the lever. Oh, but we need the lever on top. So just like this, connect that. Okay. So there you go. When the lever is on, it's off, which we don't want. So one more try. Put that here. Put this here. And we'll use the like that. And we'll take a lever. Okay. So there we go. So now when it counts up, now of course that has to be 15. So let's go ahead and make that 15. You can see that it automatically shuts off and restarts counting again. Pulse travels off, and it automatically starts counting again. So that's how you do an automatic reset. So yeah, that's essentially the circuit. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Also feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you want. I'd appreciate it. These are my first Minecraft videos, so any comments on how I can improve is great too. And I look forward to talking with you all. Have fun. Show me some cool things you can do with this. I have some ideas which I'll put up soon. But I want to see what you all think about. So, alright, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.